What if the choices you make today could change not just your life, but the future of everyone around you? In the bustling city of Freetown, a young man named Kemoh is about to face a decision that will test his heart, his courage, and everything he believes in. If you love stories filled with wisdom, bravery, and lessons we can all learn from, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, whether it's Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, the USA, or anywhere else in the world. And click the link in the description to discover how you can have a 90% done-for-you profitable online business built just for you. Generate maximum money in minimum time without selling or setting anything up yourself. Grandma Fatmata, the respected chairman of the Kemoh family empire, had been away for 3 months. During her time abroad, she thought deeply about her grandson, Kemoh, who was set to take over as the head of their prestigious law firm in Freetown. Kemoh, known for his intelligence and charm, was also famous for staying out of the public eye. Few people had ever seen his face, making him a mystery even within the company. At the law firm, excitement buzzed through the air like electricity. Whispers and giggles filled the hallways as employees talked about Kemoh's upcoming arrival. "He's so handsome," one junior lawyer whispered, barely audible. Another added, "and rich." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. Can you imagine being the one to catch his attention? He's the most eligible bachelor in town. Despite all the chatter, no one suspected that Kemoh would soon arrive among them, disguised. Meanwhile, Grandma Fatmata had plans of her own. Instead of returning as the powerful chairman everyone knew, she decided to go undercover as an elderly cleaner. She wanted to see how things really worked at the firm, when no one recognized her true identity. More importantly, she had a secret mission: to find a wife for Kemoh, someone who would love him for who he truly was, not for his wealth or status. Dressed in plain clothes, wearing an old watch that looked like a cheap imitation, Grandma Fatmata entered the law firm. Most people ignored her completely, but a group of female employees quickly noticed her presence. "Who let her in?" One of them sneered, glaring at Grandma Fatmata. "Look at her trying to act rich with that fake watch." Another chimed in, rolling her eyes. They laughed loudly, pointing fingers and making rude comments loud enough for others to hear. Grandma Fatmata stayed quiet at first, observing them with sharp eyes. But when one woman stepped closer and accused her of pretending to belong to the upper class, the situation escalated. "It's just an old watch," Grandma Fatmata said calmly. "Why does it matter to you?" Her calm response didn't sit well with the women. One of them gave her a slight shove, causing Grandma Fatmata to stumble backward, nearly losing her balance. Before things could get worse, a voice cut through the commotion. "Enough." Aminata, a beautiful young lawyer with sharp features, stepped forward. Her presence immediately silenced the room. Crossing her arms, she addressed the group firmly. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "She's just doing her job. Don't you have better things to do than bully someone?" The group exchanged awkward glances but didn't back down entirely. One of them sneered at Aminata, her tone dripping with mockery. "Look who's talking. Aren't you the one who got dumped for being too nosy? No wonder you're still single." Aminata's jaw tightened, but she kept her composure. "I wasn't dumped," she replied coolly. "I left him because I don't settle for liars or cheaters. It's called self-respect. You should try it sometime." Her words hit hard. The group muttered grudgingly among themselves before walking away, clearly irritated but unwilling to continue the confrontation. Aminata turned to Grandma Fatmata, her expression softening. "Are you all right?" she asked gently. Grandma Fatmata nodded, giving Aminata a small smile. "Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it." "It's nothing," Aminata said with a shrug. "Just let me know if anyone bothers you again." As Aminata walked away, Grandma Fatmata watched her with a knowing smile. "She's got a good heart," she murmured to herself. "This one's special." The office had quieted down after the earlier commotion, and Grandma Fatmata decided it was the perfect time to approach Aminata. She found her sitting at her desk, focused on a stack of papers. Clearing her throat softly, Grandma Fatmata spoke up. "Excuse me, my dear. Can I have a moment of your time?" Aminata looked up and smiled warmly, recognizing the older woman she'd helped earlier. "Of course. How can I help you?" Grandma Fatmata sat down across from Aminata, her sharp eyes glinting with curiosity. I couldn't help but overhear your colleagues earlier, she began. It seems you're single. Would you mind marrying my grandson? Aminata blinked, surprised by the unexpected question. She laughed politely, unsure if Grandma Fatmata was serious. That's very kind of you to suggest, but I'm not looking for love right now. I've had my share of disappointments. Fair share of heartbreak, Grandma Fatmata repeated, tilting her head. Heartbreak? You're much too young to have gone through so much pain. Aminata hesitated for a moment, then sighed deeply. A lot of men have let me down. My most recent boyfriend, who also happened to be a colleague here, cheated on me. And not just anywhere. He did it right here in the office. I caught him red-handed. It was humiliating. Grandma Fatmata's eyes narrowed, her voice firm. You're right to be cautious, but I can assure you, my grandson is nothing like that. He lost both his parents in a car accident when he was very young. I raised him myself, and has grown up to be a fine young man, with a kind heart. He would never betray someone like that. Aminata gave Grandma Fatmata a soft smile, not wanting to offend her. That's very sweet of you to say. I'll think about it, she said jokingly, trying to brush off the seriousness of the conversation. Just then, the door to the office opened, and a young man walked in. Aminata's attention was immediately drawn to him. He had strikingly handsome features, sharp cheekbones, kind eyes, and a confident yet humble demeanor. Dressed in simple clothes, he carried himself with an air of quiet elegance. Grandma, the young man said warmly as he approached. His voice was familiar, filled with affection. There you are, Kemoh. Come here, dear. Grandma Fatmata greeted him fondly. Aminata froze for a moment. This was the grandson Grandma Fatmata had just asked her to consider. This is Kemoh. Grandma Fatmata introduced him proudly. He's one of our new interns here at the firm. Kemoh smiled at Aminata, extending his hand. Hi, I'm Kemoh. It's nice to meet you. Aminata shook his hand, her cheeks tinged with a slight blush. I'm Aminata. Welcome to the firm. Kemoh's smile widened. Thank you. I've heard this is a great place to learn, so I'm excited to get started. Grandma Fatmata watched the interaction with a satisfied smile, her mind already working with plans. As Aminata returned to her work, she couldn't help but steal glances at Kemoh, wondering how such a seemingly humble and polite young man could possibly be related to the woman who'd just made an unusual proposal. Kemoh's first day as an intern was off to a simple start. Under his disguise, he blended in seamlessly with the other employees. His laid-back demeanor made him approachable to everyone, except a few who looked down on his supposed low rank. Through Grandma Fatmata's subtle intervention, Kemoh was assigned to work closely with Aminata on a case. The project involved drafting legal arguments for a high-profile client. Aminata, being one of the firm's brightest lawyers, was put in charge, while Kemoh's role as an intern was to assist her. As they began working together, Aminata was pleasantly surprised by Kemoh's intelligence and quick grasp of legal principles. His insights were sharp and to the point, making her wonder if he really was just an intern. You're surprisingly good at this, Aminata said, giving him an approving look. Kemoh chuckled. I guess I've read a lot of legal books in my spare time. I like learning from people who are passionate about what they do. Like you. Aminata blushed lightly but smiled. Thanks. That means a lot. Meanwhile, Grandma Fatmata kept a watchful eye from a distance. She had positioned herself where she could occasionally overhear their conversations while pretending to clean. Every time Aminata smiled or laughed at something Kemoh said, Grandma Fatmata's heart swelled with pride. They're starting to get along, she muttered to herself, giving a sly smile as she pushed her cleaning cart away. Later that day, Aminata's phone buzzed as she wrapped up some paperwork. It was a call from her mother. She hesitated but answered with a cheerful tone. Hi, Mom, Aminata greeted, trying to sound casual. Aminata, when are you bringing your boyfriend home? You promised to introduce me to your future husband soon, her mother exclaimed enthusiastically. Aminata's stomach churned. She had no boyfriend to introduce, and the pressure was mounting. Not wanting to disappoint her mother, she replied nervously, Soon, Mom. You'll meet him soon, I promise. Her mother sighed with delight. Good. You're not getting any younger, sweetheart. I just want to see you happy. Of course, Mom, Aminata replied, forcing a laugh. I have to get back to work now. Okay, Day. Aminata hung up and exhaled deeply. What am I going to do? She thought. The last thing she wanted was to lie to her mother, but explaining her single status felt unbearable. While Aminata was lost in her thoughts, the rest of the office was abuzz with excitement. News had spread that Kemoh Koroma, the elusive and brilliant heir to the Koroma family fortune, would soon arrive to officially take over the firm. Do you think he'll let us join his team? One lawyer asked another. Of course not, Lucy, a sassy and ambitious employee scoffed. He's only going to pick the best of the best. Let's be honest, most of you don't stand a chance. Lucy's confidence came from her own ambitions to work directly under Kemoh Koroma. She knew his reputation as a record-breaking lawyer who had never lost a case and was on track to become the youngest senior advocate in the country. She was determined to impress him at any cost. Spotting Aminata walking back to her desk, Lucy smirked. Well, if it isn't the queen of mediocrity, she said loudly enough for others to hear. Don't even think about trying to join Mr. Koroma's team. He would never pick someone like you, a low-class lawyer from a no-name university. Aminata stopped in her tracks, her heart sinking. That's enough, Lucy, she said quietly. Oh, am I wrong? Lucy continued mockingly. Everyone here knows you're not in his league. Why don't you just stick to minor cases and leave the big leagues to those of us who are actually qualified? Before Aminata could respond, Kemoh stood up from his desk. That's enough, he said firmly, stepping between Lucy and Aminata. Lucy raised an eyebrow, sizing him up. And who do you think you are, intern? Do you even have the right to speak to me like that? I might be just an intern, but I know that respect and kindness go a long way, Kemoh replied calmly. Aminata is a fantastic lawyer who works harder than anyone here. If Mr. Koroma values talent, I'm sure he'd recognize that in her before anyone else. Lucy laughed bitterly. You're defending her. That's cute. But you're as low on the totem pole as she is. Don't get in my way, intern. Kemoh didn't back down. Maybe I'm low on the totem pole, but I know the kind of people who succeed are those who lift others up, not tear them down. Lucy rolled her eyes and walked away, muttering under her breath. Aminata, who had been watching the exchange, was deeply touched by Kemoh's defense. She looked at him with new admiration. Thank you, she said softly. Kemoh shrugged, his warm smile returning. I just don't like seeing good people treated unfairly. Aminata couldn't help but smile back. Her heart fluttered slightly, and for the first time in a long while, she found herself wondering if someone could truly be different from the men who had hurt her before. The room fell silent for a moment, then laughter erupted, led by Lucy. You, Kemoh Koroma, Lucy said between chuckles. That's the funniest thing I've heard all year. Do you think we're stupid enough to believe that? Even Aminata looked stunned. She pulled Kemoh aside and whispered urgently. Kemoh, are you trying to get yourself into serious trouble? You could be sued for impersonating Mr. Koroma. Please stop before this gets worse. Kemoh looked at her, his eyes filled with a mix of frustration and hurt. Aminata, I'm telling the truth. I am Kemoh Koroma. Aminata shook her head firmly. If the real Mr. Koroma finds out, he could ruin your life. Please, Kemoh, drop this before it's too late. The situation worsened when Aminata's ex-boyfriend, Ibrahim, who still worked at the firm, decided to chime in. He had overheard the commotion and couldn't resist mocking Aminata. Wow, Aminata, you really know how to pick them, Ibrahim sneered, smirking. A poor intern pretending to be Kemoh Koroma? That's a new low, even for you. Kemoh's jaw clenched, but he remained calm. Ibrahim, you can insult me all you want, but leave Aminata out of this. Oh, look at you, Ibrahim retorted, rolling his eyes, trying to play the hero. You're just a nobody, a fake lawyer, a fake Koroma. What's next? Kemoh straightened his posture, his voice sharp and cold. Ibrahim, you've crossed the line. Not only have you insulted me, but you've also been spreading lies about Aminata. That's defamation, and you could be sued for it. Ibrahim scoffed. Sue me with what money? You can barely afford lunch. Get real. Before Ibrahim could continue, the HR manager arrived with security guards. Ibrahim, you've been terminated, effective immediately, she announced sternly. Ibrahim's smug expression vanished. What? Why? You've been warned multiple times about your behavior, and this is the final straw, the HR manager replied. Please gather your things and leave. Ibrahim turned to Kemoh and Aminata, his face red with fury. This isn't over, he spat before being escorted out of the building. Aminata, shaken by the events, pulled Kemoh aside again. Kemoh, this is getting out of hand. What if Ibrahim tells the real Mr. Koroma that you're pretending to be him? You could lose everything. Kemoh sighed, his frustration evident. Aminata, I promise you, I'm not pretending. I am Kemoh Koroma. Aminata bit her lip, torn between disbelief and worry. I don't know how to help you, but when Mr. Koroma finally gets here, I'll talk to him. I'll explain everything and try to stop him from suing you. Kemoh nodded, appreciating her concern, and understanding why she didn't believe him. That evening, Kemoh made a call to his trusted assistant. Sorry, I need you to come to the firm tomorrow and pretend to be me. Act like the real Kemoh Koroma. I need to see how everyone reacts when they think they are meeting the CEO. Sori chuckled on the other end of the line. This is an unusual request, sir, but I'll do it. I'll be there first thing in the morning. Kemoh hung up the phone, determined to resolve the chaos and finally reveal his true identity once and for all. The office was abuzz the next morning as word spread that Kemoh Koroma, the elusive CEO and legal prodigy, would finally be making his grand appearance. Everyone dressed their best, determined to impress him. At exactly 9 a.m., Sori walked into the building, exuding confidence. Dressed in a sharp suit and carrying an air of authority, he introduced himself as Kemoh Koroma. The staff was immediately in awe. Lucy, in particular, went out of her way to fawn over him. Mr. Koroma, Lucy gushed, flashing her brightest smile. It's such an honor to meet you. I've admired your work for years. Sori played along, nodding politely. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Kemoh, meanwhile, observed everything from a corner of the office, pretending to be busy with some files. He smirked as he watched Lucy's sycophantic behavior and the nervous energy of the staff. Aminata, however, stayed focused on her work, her usual grace and professionalism standing out. Kemoh couldn't help but admire her. Meanwhile, Grandma Fatmata, still pretending to be a humble cleaner, watched the unfolding drama with amusement. But her focus wasn't on Sori or Lucy. It was on Aminata. She had already made up her mind that Aminata was perfect for Kemoh. She decided it was time to intervene. That afternoon, Grandma Fatmata approached Aminata, looking pale and frail. She clutched her chest dramatically and let out a shaky sigh. Are you okay? Aminata asked, rushing to her side. I'm fine, dear, Grandma Fatmata replied weakly. It's just, my heart's not what it used to be. I don't think I have much time left. Aminata's eyes widened in concern. Don't say that. Have you seen a doctor? Grandma Fatmata shook her head. What I need can't be fixed by a doctor. My only wish before I leave this world is to see my grandson married to a good woman, someone kind and strong, someone like you. Aminata's heart skipped a beat. Me. But Grandma Fatmata gently squeezed her hand. I know it's sudden, but Kemoh cares for you deeply, and I can see you care for him too. You two would make each other so happy. Please, think about it. That evening, Aminata sat in her apartment, mulling over Grandma Fatmata's words. She couldn't deny that she had feelings for Kemoh. He was kind, supportive, and had stood by her during her toughest moments. Even though he wasn't wealthy, he made her feel valued in a way no one else ever had. Her phone buzzed, and she saw a text from her mom. When are you bringing your fiancé home? I can't wait to meet him. Aminata sighed. Her mother's constant pressure to settle down added to her growing uncertainty. Marrying Kemoh would solve everything. She loved him, and he loved her. Why not take a leap of faith? Unaware of Grandma Fatmata's scheme, Kemoh was also thinking about Aminata. He had fallen for her completely but worried about revealing his true identity. Would she feel betrayed if she found out he was really Kemoh Koroma? Would she see him differently? His thoughts were interrupted by a text from Grandma Fatmata. Come see me. It's urgent. When Kemoh arrived at Grandma Fatmata's apartment, she was lying on the couch, looking unusually pale. Grandma, what's going on? Kemoh asked, panic in his voice. Grandma Fatmata sighed dramatically. Kemoh, I'm not well. I've been thinking, you and Aminata should get married. She's perfect for you, and I know you feel the same way about her. Kemoh blinked. Married? Grandma. She already agreed. Grandma Fatmata interjected with a sly smile. She said she'd think about it, but I know she'll say yes. Don't waste time, Kemoh. Life is too short. The next day, Grandma Fatmata orchestrated a meeting between Kemoh and Aminata. She pretended to be even sicker, her frail condition convincing them both that this was urgent. As they sat beside her, Grandma Fatmata gave them a weak smile. You two mean so much to me, she said softly. I know it's sudden, but I want to see you both happy before it's too late. Will you consider getting married? Kemoh and Aminata exchanged a glance. They both felt a rush of emotion, love for each other and concern for Grandma Fatmata. Finally, Aminata spoke. I'll do it, she said, her voice steady. I've been thinking, my mom's been pressuring me to settle down, and honestly, Kemoh, I've fallen for you. I don't care about money or status. You're kind and thoughtful, and that's all that matters to me. Kemoh's heart swelled with emotion. Aminata, I feel the same way. I'll do whatever it takes to make you happy. Grandma Fatmata beamed triumphantly, her frail state momentarily forgotten. That's wonderful news. Let's plan a small ceremony right away. Aminata and Kemoh looked up, surprised by Grandma Fatmata's sudden gain of energy. The day of the wedding was simple but heartfelt. Aminata and Kemoh exchanged vows in a small ceremony at the local registry office. Aminata wore a modest white dress, her natural beauty shining brighter than any diamond. Kemoh, in a crisp suit, looked at her with a mixture of love and nervousness. Despite his joy, he couldn't shake the weight of his secret. The thought of Aminata discovering his true identity as the real Kemoh Koroma, and the fact that he had deceived her into marriage, kept gnawing at him. Grandma Fatmata, dressed in a cheerful floral outfit, watched the couple with satisfaction. To her, the plan was a success. She could see the love in Aminata's eyes and the quiet devotion in Kemoh's. After the ceremony, as they sat together at a small celebratory dinner, Kemoh leaned close to his grandmother and whispered his worries. Grandma, he said quietly, what if Aminata finds out the truth? What if she feels betrayed and decides to leave me? I've lied to her, and now we're married. It's wrong, Kemoh said, his voice heavy with guilt. Grandma Fatmata patted his hand reassuringly. Kemoh, you didn't deceive her out of malice. You love her, and it's clear she loves you too. When the time comes, she'll understand. Good intentions matter, dear. Don't lose heart. Kemoh nodded, but the anxiety lingered in his chest. He wanted to believe his grandmother's words, but he couldn't ignore the possibility that Aminata might feel hurt and betrayed when the truth came to light. After the wedding, life at the office became increasingly tense for Aminata. Though her professional reputation had grown, jealousy festered among her colleagues. Lucy, who had always been competitive and envious, decided to take drastic action. One afternoon, during a team meeting, Lucy stood up with a smug expression. I have something important to report, she announced, holding up a folder. Aminata has been leaking confidential documents to our competitors. Gasps filled the room. Aminata froze in shock. What? That's not true, she exclaimed. Lucy smirked. Oh, really? Because I have evidence right here, she said, holding up what appeared to be incriminating emails with Aminata's name on them. The room buzzed with whispers as Lucy reveled in the attention. We can't have someone like her in this firm. Mr. Koroma should know about this immediately, Lucy added, her voice dripping with satisfaction. Aminata's heart raced. She knew the accusations were false, but the so-called evidence was damning. She felt her throat tighten as the weight of the situation sank in. Kemoh, sitting quietly in his disguise as an intern, clenched his fists under the table. He wanted to stand up and defend Aminata, but his position as a supposed intern limited what he could do without raising suspicion. Instead, he approached Aminata privately after the meeting. I believe you, he told her softly, his eyes earnest. Whatever's happening, we'll figure it out. Aminata gave him a small, grateful smile, but her shoulders sagged. Thanks, Kemoh, but this is serious. If Lucy's lies stick, my career could be over. Kemoh reached out and squeezed her hand. You're not alone in this. I promise, I'll do everything I can to help. Word of the accusation quickly reached Grandma Fatmata, who immediately sprang into action. Her influence behind the scenes was far-reaching. She discreetly called in favors, arranging for Aminata to have access to legal resources and support to fight the false claims. At the same time, Grandma Fatmata kept a close eye on Lucy through her network, gathering information that might expose Lucy's schemes. Meanwhile, Sori, still pretending to be Kemoh Koroma, was called into a meeting about the accusations against Aminata. Lucy, confident that she had the ear of the CEO, presented her fabricated evidence to Sori. She expected him to side with her, but Sori, following instructions from the real Kemoh, remained noncommittal. This is a serious matter, Sori said, flipping through the folder with a neutral expression. We'll conduct a thorough investigation before making any decisions. Lucy's smile faltered. But the evidence is clear, Mr. Koroma. Sori looked up sharply. We will investigate. No further discussion. A week after their simple wedding, Aminata's life had become a whirlwind of challenges and emotions. The false accusations from Lucy hung over her, and though Grandma Fatmata and Kemoh were supportive, she still felt the weight of the situation. One evening, while staying late at the office to work on her defense, Aminata decided to grab a coffee from the break room. As she passed a nearby conference room, she heard voices and paused. The door was slightly ajar, and she recognized the familiar voice of her husband, Kemoh. James, I need to stop this charade soon, Kemoh was saying. Aminata doesn't deserve to be in the dark anymore. I tried to tell her, but she didn't believe me. Now that we're married, I can't keep lying to her. Say, Sori replied, I understand your concern, but revealing your identity might make things complicated, especially with Lucy's accusations hanging over Aminata. Aminata's heart skipped a beat. She leaned closer to hear more, her mind racing. Say, why is Mr. Koroma calling you sir? She whispered to herself. I don't care about complications, Kemoh said firmly. Aminata deserves the truth. I'm Kemoh Koroma, the CEO of this firm, and my disguise as an intern was only meant to observe how things were run here, Aminata whispered, her breath catching in her throat. Kemoh is Kemoh Koroma. She stumbled back from the door, her mind reeling. The pieces fell into place, his insights into their cases, his confidence, even Grandma Fatmata's strange insistence that they get married. It all made sense now. Later that evening, Aminata waited for Kemoh at their apartment. When he walked in, he could tell immediately that something was wrong. Aminata, what's going on? He asked, setting his briefcase down. I overheard you talking to Sori, she said, crossing her arms. You're Kemoh Koroma, the CEO of the firm, the billionaire Kemoh Koroma. Kemoh froze for a moment. He considered denying it but knew it was futile. He sighed deeply. Aminata, I can explain. You lied to me, she said, her voice trembling. You pretended to be an intern and then you married me without telling me who you really were. I didn't mean to hurt you, Kemoh said, stepping closer. I tried to tell you the truth before, but you didn't believe me. I didn't want to lose you, and I didn't want you to feel like I was trying to deceive you. Aminata looked at him, her emotions warring between anger and understanding. Why didn't you tell me before the wedding? I wanted to, but I was afraid, Kemoh admitted. Afraid that you'd feel betrayed or that you'd think I only married you because of Grandma's schemes. Aminata, I love you. That's the only reason I married you. And if you'll have me, I still owe you a grand wedding. Aminata's anger softened at his words. She could see the sincerity in his eyes. After a long pause, she said, I need time to process this, Kemoh. But I won't leave you. I love you too. Relief washed over him, and he nodded. Thank you for giving me a chance to make things right. If you love stories and you love to watch part 2 of the story filled with wisdom, bravery, and lessons we can all learn from, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to turn that notification bell on so that when part 2 is out you will be the first person to receive the notification, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, whether it's Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, the USA, or anywhere else in the world. And click the link in the description to discover how you can have a 90% done-for-you profitable online business built just for you. Generate maximum money in minimum time, without selling or setting anything up yourself.